Est.
Coming up next on Arizona Horizons, Journalists Roundtable will recap the end of the 2017 legislative session, who got what they wanted, who didn't, and where we all go from here. The Journalists Roundtable is next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon's Journalists Roundtable. I'm Ted Simons. Joining us tonight, Mary Jo Pitzel of the Arizona Republic, Bob Christie of the Associated Press, and Luigi Del Puerto of the Arizona Capital Times. State lawmakers ended their 2017 legislative session this week, and now that the Capitol is relatively quiet, let's look back on what happened. Mary Jo, what happened?
Well, you know, they passed some bills, they put together a budget, and they went home in 122 days. A lot happened, obviously, between the January start and the close this week, and we'll be going over some of those topics. I should mention just today the governor did sign the 10-bill budget package, which is $9.8 billion that'll carry the state through the next year, or so they hope.
Yeah, the last days of a session often are marked by chaos. Did we see that this go around?
We didn't see chaos, but we sure didn't see a smooth running operation. I mean, we passed the budget last week. This week they came back Monday with the goal of adjourning possibly Tuesday. Then they discovered Holy Toledo, John Kavanaugh, Republican senator from Fountain Hills, is out of town all week. And we had promised to pass 2 or 3 bills in order to get the budget out, and he was the key vote because one Republican refused to back him. So they were a vote short. So there was this whole mess of, do we adjourn on Tuesday and come back next week when John Kavanaugh is back? Do we, oh no, we can't do that because we'll lose another Republican. And then, okay, we'll fly John back from New Orleans on Thursday night. He'll get here at 8 o'clock. We'll rush him to the legislature. We'll go from 8 o'clock at night until 2 in the morning. And then they finally flipped the Republican. And
how often? It seems like this happens quite a lot, that lawmakers, just when they're needed, are off doing something. They're at Six Flags, or there's some law enforcement conference, or they're taking a vacation.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you've been down there at the state capitol, you almost always will schedule your vacations in July, because July 1st, that's when we are supposed to have a state budget in place. And so I never really quite get lawmakers scheduling their vacation in late April or early May. But, you know, in the case of John Kavanaugh, he went to another state for a teacher training. He teaches at a community college in Scottsdale, and he needed that training in order to continue teaching. But Bob's correct. You know, there was that whole back and forth. What are we going to do? Are we going to sine die, adjourn the session on Thursday night, come back at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock when John Kavanaugh gets here? But they did get Senator Kate Brophy McGee to flip her no vote on some bills, and to vote for some of those bills that they needed to pass.
Can I interject how rather amusing it is that Senator Kavanaugh needed this teacher certification approval, this from a legislature that said, we're going to let people be teachers and you don't have to be certified. But obviously, apparently in his case as a community college professor, that's sort of a different kettle of fish.
Overall tone of the legislative session, as strident as in years past?
You know, I don't think so. I mean, we saw at the very first couple weeks how do I put it politely, the very unusually strident little different bills that were immediately killed. You know, the ones from Bob Thorpe up in Flagstaff that would, the ones that would repeal the state's participation in the refugee program, and several others.
The ones about riots.
The ones about riots, right? That would have made it a felony if you were next to a riot. Those went away fairly quickly, and so we ended up with a fairly passive session. We had the usual stuff that we always get. We have an abortion bill or two every year. Those, or a right to life bill of some type. We got one of each of those. We got some, but primarily the legislation was fairly controversial.
Right. They really, I think they avoided the flare-ups that we have seen in the past with social conservative issues, for example, or with gun rights, for example, they, some of the gun rights or gun bills that were proposed this year didn't go anywhere, for example. So what we saw was a legislature that was more focused on the traditional big policy questions, education, taxes.
Did the change in leadership make for a kinder, gentler, I should say, legislative session? Oh,
I think so. I think that's widely agreed among the lawmakers, especially in the House, where J.D. Mesnar came in as Speaker, and he had this big, 30-page treatise on what being Speaker should be, but he was very intent on having caucus-oriented legislation. He listened to his members, he empowered his committee chairs, they created subcommittees to study the budget and gave those folks a voice to some degree in the budget setting process. And that made everybody feel, included. And, a lot more Democratic bills, moved farther along in the process. Heck, some even got to the governor's desk.
I was going to ask that. Was it a kinder, gentler session for Democrats?
I think it was. They were frustrated at the very end because when they thought that they had laid the groundwork to compromise on the key components of the budget, which were there, they didn't weigh in on, this is a $9.8 billion budget. There's an awful lot of components to it. They wanted two things. They wanted a 4% teacher raise, and they wanted a full, clean restoration of the welfare cuts that Doug Ducey pushed through 2 years ago. And he was offering half of both those. And they thought, we've positioned ourselves to really have a seat at the table here. And they walked away bitter because that didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen on either count there. All right, let's talk about some of the big issues now of the legislative session, and we'll go through some of the major ideas, the major themes and stuff. We did talk to the governor this week, and he basically emphasized that the session itself emphasized education. Here's what he had to say.
I think it was a win for education. We've got more money for teachers. We've got $163 million over and above inflation. We've got a $1 billion bond for universities and for these college kids that are there. So I think it was an education-focused budget, and I think education was a winner here. And there's still more to do, but this is what we put out in mid-January, and we feel good about where we are.
Okay, education, obviously a major issue in this session. Vouchers. Talk to us about how emotional that issue was. That may have been the most emotional issue of the session.
Oh. It probably was. So the school choice community for many, many years have pushed a voucher program. A couple years ago, it was ruled as unconstitutional, so now we have what's called an empowerment scholarship account. That provides money to students that would migrate from a traditional school or a charter school and go to a private school. And they have, the previous laws that we had passed slowly expanded the program, so there were specific students that were included. Foster kids, children of military families. And now they wanted to expand it to everybody. So the original proposal was to expand it to 1.2, 1.1 million kids.
Here's how emotional it was. We now have a referendum that was filed by a group called Save Our Schools Arizona. They took out their petitions yesterday at the Arizona Secretary of State. They're hitting the streets. They want to put that bill that Luigi just described on hold and get it on the ballot in 2018 and let voters have their say.
And they would have their say in 2018. At the same time, they would be considering Doug Ducey again for re-election. Again, we spoke with the governor this week, and I asked him about being on the same ballot as perhaps a referendum on this idea. Are you comfortable knowing that you might be on the same ballot as a referendum on this particular?
Oh, well, the campaign cycles are too long. What we're focused on in this office is good public policy going forward, and I think we have a record of achievement and accomplishment.
So, Bob, let's talk about this. If this gets on the ballot, would the voucher system, or at least the expansion, or both, survive a public vote?
Well, I don't predict elections. I think it's a toss-up because the governor and the American, the groups that back the vouchers are going to spend a bunch of money to back them. But there is a grassroots group of folks. I mean, 90%, 95% of the students in Arizona go to regular public schools or charter schools. And this is going to siphon up to 100, probably, back a napkin, who knows, $100, $200 million out of the public school system that's been underfunded for years. The numbers are hard to quantify because we don't know how many have enrolled yet, but it could be a big issue.
Oh, but this reminds me of 2012. We had this strong parent movement coming out of Tucson. They were going to extend that penny sales tax in the name of education. They got on the ballot. It wasn't a referendum, it was an initiative. They're winning in their court challenges. They're just steaming along, and then in came this big load of dark money, which is really the first time Arizona saw the influence of money that comes from donors whom you can't identify. And it crushed it. So, not to rain on anybody's parade, but this effort to maybe undo the school vouchers, they got a long way to go.
Right, and precisely, money is the big question. Can they get the money to get this law on the ballot? Because
then you got to run a campaign.
And run a campaign. But the first question is to find the money to pay the petition gatherers to get the signatures and get this question on the ballot. We've never had at least in my 11 years here, I've never seen a ballot measure go on the ballot if it's not through a paid signature gathering system. That's one. Until you mentioned 2012, it was sort of a convoluted, sort of a Christmas tree omnibus proposal that gave money to all sorts of people that they were trying to push. This year, however, it's a single issue, voucher expansion. And, a lot of people are dismissive because it is a grassroots effort and they do need the money. However, you can feel the energy in the group is palpable. So let's see if they can parlay it into something more.
And again, that would undo the voucher program. Another major issue down there at the Capitol was school repairs, $63 million for new construction, but there was no restoration of cuts to soft capital. And because of that, we got a lawsuit.
That's right. That $63 million is by 6 new schools. But a couple weeks ago, the schools filed a lawsuit that said, state, you've shorted us for a decade now by a couple $2 billion. To restore that money, it's going to be $350 million a year. That's for school repairs. That's for new air conditioners, new school buses. It's for textbooks, computers, all that stuff that we litigated 15 years ago, and the Supreme Court said, yes, legislature, you have to pay it.
What are they saying in response? I mean, if the court says pay it, there was a one-time payout, but then they're talking like between $2 and $4 billion not being paid since '09.
Well, haven't you seen where you turn your pockets inside out and you say, we don't have any money?
So that's it?
Yes.
That's.
I mean, there's not enough money now, and then the critics will say, well, wait a minute, there's been enough money for a lot of tax cuts. And in fact, this budget has, depending on whose numbers you look at, maybe, $13 to $20 million in more tax cuts, which take money away from the general fund.
This lawsuit puts the state in a really precarious situation because the fact is that the Supreme Court has ruled on this issue a couple times in the 1990s. Back then, the school districts, the wealthier school districts could provide for whatever construction they needed, the poorer ones could not. The court said the state is obligated to pay for all these capital expenditures. And the state, came back and said, how about we put $30 million, $100 million? And the court said, nope, you got to provide more. And so there is already a court ruling in favor of the plaintiffs.
Well, and again, I asked the governor on this regarding this lawsuit over the lack of capital funding, and here's what he said. Do you understand why some folks say that we can't get this done without a lawsuit?
Well, I think you can get a lot of things done without a lawsuit. That's my experience coming from the business world, but trial lawyers have to make a living as well. We're going to bring resources and capital to this solution. We also have some innovative ideas, but this is what we could do in this session. This was a massive amount of additional dollars when you couple it with Prop 123 and dollars for capital and construction, but there's more to follow. We'll be back here next year at this time talking about what we did in that session as well.
All right, Bob, how big? Prop 123, the inflation funding lawsuit, that grew to be humongous. Does this have the same potential?
It could, especially if they go after the back money. I mean, like I said, it's going to take $350 million a year in extra funding on top of the $4.2 billion, and almost half of our state budget that goes to K-12 already to fix this problem. And this is not the trial lawyers. Bless the governor, but this is not the trial lawyers. These are school districts and parents and nonprofit legal aid groups which are trying to force the government to obey the Constitution.
And they've been circling and warning for a number of years. Everybody knew this lawsuit was coming. They knew it was coming 3 years out. In fact, at the beginning of the session, both President Yarborough in the Senate and Speaker Mesnard said that they would like to do something for capital financing because they saw this thing on the horizon.
And the governor was a little bit dismissive when he refers to them as trial lawyers. I mean, the litigant here, the lead lawyer, is Tim Hogan. And he's been a pretty consistent lawyer in terms of winning for his client. So if he's a trial lawyer, then, you know, the state has a pretty solid opponent in him.
Well, and speaking of undoing actions by the legislature, limits on initiatives, first of all, how many of these things passed?
Well, if you remember, to recap, late in January, one big bill was introduced that did all sorts of stuff to initiatives. They stripped everything out except for a provision that said you can't pay petition gatherers per the signature. That passed, went to the governor. Then they reconstructed the rest of the bill into two separate pieces of legislation. One passed. That is a requirement that initiatives have to be strictly complied. They have to have strict compliance with all the laws. That means if a petition circulator has spells somebody's name wrong, if there's a problem anywhere in the language on the bill, even if you can tell what it is, but it's not perfect, that can be thrown out. That made it to the governor. A third bill didn't make it to the finish line.
But the one that made it to the governor now, that's under attack. We got a referendum process going on here?
Right, there's actually
and
two.
A lawsuit,
there's
correct?
Two that made it to the governor and he has signed into law.
Okay.
The one on the ban paying by the signature
yes.
and the one on strict compliance. Those are both subject to a referendum drive, separate referendum drives from Voters of Arizona Committee. And then yesterday, in a separate action, the strict compliance measure was taken to court by 3 people or 2 people in a group that have been involved in citizen initiatives in the past. And they're saying, look, this thing is unconstitutional on the face of it. You know, you got to get rid of it.
And we had Grant Woods on the program, and he's part of this group that's leading this particular effort. And he was basically here talking pretty tough, and he had a message for lawmakers.
One thing these people ought to understand, and a little message to them in the last 48 hours here, because I know they watch Horizon, if you pass these things, we are going to get this on the ballot, and you'll just have to defend it when you're running for re-election. We're going to be on the ballot at the same time, so be prepared. If you want to take the people's right to check the government away from them, be prepared to defend it.
All right, Luigi, will these things, will it make the ballot? Will it succeed?
Well, so if it makes it to the ballot, there's probably a good chance of selling this to the voters. And here's why. The critics of these proposals can go to voters and say, look, they are trying to take away your right to write laws. And if that is the message, and that's going to be on the ballot with, you know, the elections, the governor's election, all the other elections, it's a pretty compelling message. The question is, can they get it on the ballot? If they can, the question again boils down to money. Do they have the money for it? It seems like they're going to be, this campaign is going to be pretty well funded.
Well, and then we go back to the whole dark money argument. Is this the kind of issue where dark money could make a difference? Or is, I mean, you're basically asking, will you please not have so much influence over the legislature? That's what you're asking voters to vote for.
Yes, and so, yeah, there could be dark money. I haven't checked with the chamber, but the Arizona Chamber of Commerce and a couple of business groups wanted these bills. You know, they were really the only voices lobbying for them. Would they put, if this thing gets onto the ballot, you know, will they put money into a campaign to make the argument for why? And here's their most compelling argument, is that we have this thing in Arizona called the Voter Protection Act. So once something is approved by voters at the ballot, it's virtually impossible to change it. And lawmakers complain every year that this handcuffs them. And, well, yeah, it does. You know, so what they could do is listen to what the voters are telling them, you know, but...
Or go back to the voters and say, oops, we need for you to reconsider.
Listen, if I changed profession and became a campaign consultant, I would say, do some nice slick TV ads with average working Arizonans who have gotten a $2 an hour, $1.50 an hour pay raise because you voters had the right to tell the legislature to make that law, and these guys want to take it away from you.
Like I mentioned, the message is pretty compelling if they get it on the ballot. It's, you know, it's this whole feud, if you want to call it, between the legislature, this tension that we see every year between the legislature and advocates of initiatives, because the legislature, whether they admit it or not, they see the people's right to write laws as competition.
Right. Well, this is going to be hard to do. They have 90 days from yesterday to collect 75,000 valid signatures, which generally means you got to get twice as many. In the heat of the summer, you're going to, as you walk out your grocery store, there's going to be volunteers sitting there with card tables asking you to sign a petition. This is a hard, hard thing to get done.
All right, another major issue, and this one threatened to become the 800-pound gorilla of the session, and that was university funding. Universities wind up getting, what, $27 million annually for 25 years in terms of bonding authority. Little wheeling and dealing went on, though, to get that, didn't it?
Oh, more than a little. The whole state budget turned on this, and it effectively, you know, became a battle between how much support do we want to give to higher education this year and how much to the K-12 system, because you had teachers and the Democrats and, you know, maybe a couple of Republicans more quietly saying, you know, we need to do more for our teachers. We've got a teacher shortage. We've got, you know, crappy teacher pay. But the governor and his allies persisted. The universities, they lobbied this thing hard, and they got their bonding package, which will allow them to, you know, create all these wonderful research and development facilities to further their university mission and hopefully to drive the economy.
They got their bonding package, but this was not the original idea that the governor sent to the legislature. It wasn't even close to the original idea. And again, I asked the governor about that. That plan is different than what you originally proposed, which would have redirected sales taxes from cities and towns. Are you okay with the final results?
Oh, I'm thrilled. For me, it was about the resources to the universities with accountability and oversight.
So, Luigi, I mean, he's thrilled. He gets what he wants. Who wasn't thrilled by this? Well,
the K-12 community, for one, wasn't very thrilled that the universities, well, as Mary Jo had mentioned, it was the fight almost became, you know, pitting one education group against another. But I do want to say the governor's office went very smartly in the way they laid out this proposal. So, as the governor mentioned, as you mentioned, the governor didn't get what he wanted initially, which is a redirection of TPT, sales taxes that the universities pay. By saying we're going to do a TPT redirection, the governor has given himself room to negotiate. Had he came to the legislature and said, I want borrowing, give me $30 million a year for up to $1 billion, lawmakers would say, at least fiscally conservative lawmakers would probably say, nope, you're not going to have that. But by saying, let's do this mechanism, it provided the governor some room to maneuver, and also by including initially the cities there was going to be a hit to the cities that's now taken out. Then you have a budget proposal at the end that didn't harm the cities and didn't do this redirection scheme.
Well, maybe the universities got harmed anyway, because one of the bills that was part of the sweetener so they could get the university thing through was, okay, we're going to have a bill that will limit when cities can hold sales tax elections.
Yes.
And that will be every November, in November every other even numbered years. And the cities are howling about that.
This is, the university bonding was interesting because this is what gave the Democrats leverage. They wanted a bigger K-12 teacher raise and they wanted a full welfare registration. And there was a group of Republican conservatives who did not want to support the university bonding package. They thought the universities have too much money. They hate the fact that the state's about to take $1 billion worth of debt on. They don't like the universities anyway. They think they're liberal inoculation centers or whatever word you want to use. And so they were totally against it. But the Democrats, which the governor said, we'll support that. All you got to do is give us this. Well, everybody will have a bipartisan deal. And it didn't happen. Instead, they went and they gave the conservatives three or four things, a tax cut.
Democrats thought that they had a pretty strong hand to play, and it wound up being just going the opposite direction.
Yeah, they didn't get anything. The governor said, I'm not going to do it.
And in fact, it got pretty awkward in the Senate because in the end, basically the Democrats said, well, we're not going to vote for this. And then ultimately 7 of them, at least in the Senate, voted for the proposal.
All right, we got less than a minute left. Big winner, big loser of the session?
Well, I'd say Ducey's a big winner. He's got a lot of points that he can take out, on the campaign trail and use and also to build his agenda for next year, especially on the education front.
Loser?
Big loser, from all the yelling and screaming, probably teachers. There is a question between the teacher certification bill and a 1% raise a year for the next 2 years. Will that really do anything to boost the teacher corps?
American Federation for Children, the voucher backing national group, big winners. Whether and one, those folks would say that the big winners are the students who are going to be able to take those vouchers to the school they want. There are those who disagree. Loser. I think the Democrats are at least disappointed. I don't know if I call them losers or not. But, they had high hopes and they didn't get there.
Winners and non-winners. Let's go with that line.
Well, Ducey, big winner, non-winner Democrats. They can't be losers because they were never part of the game to begin with. So.
All right. Good stuff, guys. Thanks for joining us. Great work this session, too. Thank you so much. And that is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great weekend.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you. Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Hospice of the Valley, medical, social, and spiritual care for patients nearing end of life, and support for their families. A not-for-profit community hospice. HOV.org.
Bing Crosby, the most beloved voice in the world.
Throughout a career of around 60-some-odd pictures, I've always played one character, Bing Crosby.
What Bing created was the art of intimacy.
Remember why we all loved Bing when Bing Crosby Rediscovered comes to American Masters.
Tonight at 8 on Arizona PBS. Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
Throughout its history, Arizona PBS and volunteers have enjoyed a rich and rewarding partnership. Whether answering phones during our pledge campaigns, stuffing envelopes, or assisting with special events, volunteering is fun and provides excellent work experience, team building for a group, and a sense of community involvement and importance. If you would like to volunteer or if you have dropped off our mailing list, we encourage you to call the number on your screen or go online at azpbs.org/volunteer. Thank you.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World. Become a news source for the Arizona PBS Public Insight Network. Your ideas and insights can help us create relevant and distinctive reporting. Join now at azpbs.org/pin. Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
Next time on The Coroner. When Jane investigates the death